Hi, Internet viewers. This is Frank Rauscher again. We're working on this finch, and what I'm going to do today is we're going to shape the finch. We cut it out on a basswood blank, and I knocked the edges off on a 45-degree angle. And now what I'm going to do is proceed to get the center line on and do the rounding of the body and the tail as well. So bear with me a second, and I'll switch the camera down so that you could see from the top looking down what I create as we go. So bear with me one second. Thank you. Okay, we are going to proceed on with the finch, and I'm going to show you how I put a center line on here for the body. And what we do is we will shape this up. The tail right now is about 1.25 inches long, so I'm going to split that in half and put a dot. So it's about 5/8 in from either side. And then I'm going to come up into the body here. And the body's roughly about 2 inches from the outside edge to outside edge. And I put another dot right here, and that'll be the middle, which is 1 inch in from either side. So I'm going to lay this ruler on here, and I'm going to draw a straight line from dot to dot, and that'll be my center line for the body. Now, we also are going to transfer that same line down to the bottom here and turn the corner so you can see where that one lands on the other side, on the belly side here. And I'm going to look down from the top again and line up the 2 inches and find the middle of the body, the belly. Lay my ruler down here, and I want to go from dot to dot. Let's see if I can get this flat enough. And I'll run that up. And that will establish the underneath side. Now, the other thing I have is when I put this on as a template, this has a wedge in here. So I created the wedge for the beak. And what I want to do now is I want to come up between the wedge and get a distance that's equal on both sides. So I'm going to go for the 1/2 inch mark, which would be here, and find the midpoint, which is 1/4 inch. So I got a dot here, and then I have the point of the beak here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the tip of the beak with that 1/4 inch in and run that up. And this will be the center line of my head. And the reason why we're doing this is because we're establishing whatever we do on one side, we want to do on the other. It's everything's symmetrical about this center line. And we first want to round this over. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll also bring in the head to get the detail out of it, get the beak out of it and everything else. But right now, we need to round this over. The other thing that we need to do too is the tail. And the tail, I'm going to come down almost 1/8 inch. And I'm going to arc it up to what would be the center line of of the tail here, and then come back down right here. So I have an arc going, and then I'm going to come down about 1/8 of an inch again all the way around and mimic this arc down here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is that'll give me a boundary that I need to take off in this tail, at least up to that line. And then I'll show you later how we excavate this out to get the tail thinned out so that all you have left is the material between these two arcs. And then we'll also establish where the rump comes in. So let me get started on the body here first. And I want to try to stay off the head. We will encroach on the head a little bit, but we generally, when we cut it either to the left or to the right, you have more material when the head turns. It's just the way you cut it out on a bandsaw. So this area here will probably have to come in more than this side, and you could probably see it if you're looking straight down on this, that this is a little heavier here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a Fordham, which is a flex shaft motor, and I'm going to come in. We have edges here, and I'm going to mark this in pencil so you could see it. And we have an edge here and an edge here. And I'm doing this so that you can view it better. And then on this side, we have this edge, we have this edge, and we have this edge, and we have this edge. So they're all the edges. Now, we want to round this over, and our limitation is the center line. The center line is actually that width. That when we go to take material out, we don't want to take too much off the center line. We do want to take the center line out a little bit, but we're skimming it by the time we get up to here. Because this is the thickness of the center line. Of the bird, I'm sorry. And so we don't want to change this look, especially like in this belly area. So we're trying to get to the center line. You can take a little bit off, but very little. And then for the profile, we have like between the belly and the back here of the bird, I'm going to come in and just put a line which is about midway between my two fingers right here, this one and this one. And I'm going to draw a line this way. Okay. And that'll be like the middle of the body. And then I'm going to do that same thing here, which actually comes right in about here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking material off here. I'm going to roll it between this pencil mark and this pencil mark, get this edge, and start rounding it over, okay? Again, we'll come up onto the head, but not that much at all. And then once I get this rolling, then I skim it towards the center, and that'll get all these sole marks out too that are there, and it'll just take off a little bit. But the bulk of it is between here and here. We're taking a lot off. Then we want to get this quarter between this and this rolling also. So I come down to this edge, and I'm going to round this from here to here, okay, just before the middle of the body. And I'm going to round that over so it starts continuously rolling. And by the time I get to the center here of the middle of the body, that will be my stopping point, but I will skim it a little bit on there. So we're taking this and we're rounding this over, and I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to be using a flexible shaft, which it's a Fordham with a motor and a handpiece here holding a tungsten carbide bit, and I use this predominantly to get the wood out, a lot of it real quick, and it's very aggressive in a sense that it's used for what we call hogging, which is getting the material out as fast as we can. So let me start, and then what I'm going to do after I get this done, then I'm going to do the same thing. I put a pencil mark here, pencil mark there, and a pencil mark there, and I start taking this down to roll from here to here, and then skim it up to here. In the same way, this side, I start here and to here, and I skim this, and pretty soon we'll roll it around. So let me show you how I do this. I'm going to turn on my machine, so I'm making a little noise, but here we go. I'm going to start, we'll start right in here. I'm going to take that edge, and I'm going to knock it down to where I'm almost coming up to those pencil lines. There you go. Now I get rid of the other one, so I'm going to keep on moving up. So I get to the next pencil line, and I'm trying to get edges that are there out of there. So until you're trying to be not real aggressive. Now from here to the center line, I'm taking a little bit out, but I'm not taking a lot out. Okay, I'm just skimming. You can see that the center line has been reduced a little bit. So I'm coming up again. I'm staying shy of the head for the moment. Now I'm going to come down and do this edge. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to round that over. And then I'm going to skim that, because that's the middle of the body. Don't want to take too much off there. Then I went to that point. I got to take a little bit more off so that the pencil mark disappears. Then I come on to this edge, and I take the material down, and I roll this up to the center line. So now I'm going to look to see if there's any edges. I see little ones up in here, so I'm going to come in and I'm just going to massage it to the point that I have it pretty well rolling across here. Okay, and if I feel a bump or something, I'll just take a little bit off. Now I'm going to do this side. I'm going to come in here, knock that edge down, roll it. I'm taking it all the way down. It's not on the tail yet. And then I'm skimming to the center. Got to do the other side here, so I'm doing that too. So I'm rolling that. Okay, so I have a nice roll over there. Now I got this edge here, and let me just get the pencil, and it's this edge right here I still have. So I'm going to take that right down to what would be the middle of the body, and stop there. Then I go to the bottom edge here. I'm going to take that down, round it over, and then skim to the center line, and then I do this one here. And I'll turn this around, keep that same side, and Now, like I said, I have a lot more material in here, so I'm going to come in and pull that around a little bit more. I could have done it on the bandsaw, which would alleviate a lot of this grinding, but I'll just take that in. Now I'm going to look and see if I left any edges. Most of this should be rounding very nicely. It doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to get it. This is just the roughing out period. So we're going to have a chance to recoup if we didn't get enough done. We will determine that as we go. So here's what we have so far. We're looking for a rounded edge all the way through here, and the same way on the belly side. Now, what you can do is put the center line back in, like so, and then do the same thing up here. You could lay a ruler, but I'm doing this by eye. And then what I'm going to do is look down this and look and see if what looks right on this side, or if this is rolling better. I'm going to mimic this onto this side. And if I didn't get enough off, I'm going to come in with my pencil, and I could see I still need to take some more off here. I sort of didn't get enough, and I'm trying to make everything on one side look like the same thing on the other side. When I flip the belly over, I want to look down this belly and see a nice roll over here. And I think I have accomplished that. And I'm going to look at it from my view here. And I still see a light edge that you may not be able to see from the camera here. But I usually put a pencil mark in there just to let me know to skim a little bit more. There's an edge that still is persistent right here. And I think we're in pretty good shape after that. So let me turn on the machine again. And I'm going to come in here, and it's just a little massaging to get that out of there, because it's not like we got to take a lot out yet. And this is just to get some more edges out here. So that takes care of that. And then we have this edge. Let's take that out. Got little sole marks that are still going through the center here, so I'll clean that up as well. Now, there's another one right here. So I'll look down the end. This should look the same. The underneath side looks pretty close too. A little high right there. And that should do it. Now, on the tail, we have this arc. So I'm going to ask you to come in and just roll this lower section so that it mimics that arc right across. And you take very little off in the center, and then you take the material down like that. Okay, and I have a little bit more to take off here to get that down. And a little bit more right at the end here. So now we've taken the material off on there. I say I got a little edge or two. So I'm going to smooth that out so it has a nice rollover. So we've accomplished that much, and on this video, I want to stop at this point. We will go to another one, and I will show you how to do the shoulder, to get the shoulder in, and then we'll do the rump, and then we'll proceed on. So I hope you enjoy what you've seen so far. If you do, give me a thumbs up, and if you would subscribe, that would help me out greatly too. And on the next video, I will again cut the shoulder muscle in, show you how to do that, get the rump in, and then we start on the head. Okay, so see you on the next video, and I hope you enjoyed what you seen. Thank you.